Hey everybody, Playtendoguy here and welcome to my review of Resident Evil 2 Remake. The Resident Evil franchise is one of the most loved and most influential video game series about. The original game more or less created the survival horror genre and the fourth game reinvented the genre in 2005. But after the brilliant fourth game in the franchise, the series seemed to have lost its way and focused less on the survival horror aspects and more on action. Don't get me wrong, Resident Evil 5 was good, but Resident Evil 6 was more reminiscent of a Michael Bay movie. With so much action, it just didn't feel like a proper Resident Evil game. Don't get me wrong, the series did go back to its roots a bit with Revelations and its sequel, but it still wasn't true survival horror. Cue Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which launched all the way back in 2017 and did mark a return to form for the franchise, focusing on a more lower-key affair as well as delivering cool new first-person aspect, which was a clever new way to play a Resident Evil game. For as great as Resi 7 was, it did lack in one department, and that was the enemies you faced. Yes, the Bakers were awesome adversaries, but the mold was boring, and that was about it for the monsters. A Resident Evil game without zombies just didn't feel right. But at E3 last year, Capcom revealed a cool looking trailer with zombies in it, and shockingly, it was the return of Resident Evil 2, the beloved 1998 classic back from the dead with a gorgeous new look. Whilst we knew Capcom was bringing back Resident Evil 2 in some form, I wasn't expecting something so beautiful and as gruesome as this. Anyway, the game is now out, and I've been playing through it to bring you my review. So without further ado, let's begin. Resident Evil 2 follows two playable characters, rookie cop Leon Kennedy and Claire, sister of Chris Redfield. And when you start out the game, you can choose from whose perspective you want to play from. I picked Leon myself, but whoever you pick, the story is mostly the same with a few different characters, areas and story beats, but the main story is pretty much the same. You enter Raccoon City, the place has gone to pot due to the experiments from the Umbrella Corporation, and people are turning into zombies. After getting away from some zombies, you end up in the Raccoon City Police Department building, and Leon and Claire get split up, so they have to find a way out to meet back together, whilst also trying to put a stop to this damn fine mess. The only real hurdle is the police station, and every other area you visit is full of zombies, so it's going to be tough. And tough is what Resident Evil 2 is. Unlike previous games, you used to get loads of ammo and zombies were no more than shooting fodder. Zombies here are a big threat, as resources are limited and zombies themselves take quite a few hits to down. Not even a headshot is guaranteed to kill them. As you go through the labyrinth police station, you do kinda have to avoid some zombies so you've got enough ammo to keep you going. But be careful, as if zombies are in groups, it does spell pretty big trouble for you. Resident Evil hasn't really felt scary for a long while. Yes, Resident Evil 7 was pretty scary as you played through a first-person perspective, but as the game went on it became more action-focused and also the mold enemies were rubbish, to be honest. Thankfully, Resident Evil 2 creates a brilliant atmosphere thanks to the superb lighting and sound effects. Hearing a zombie screech does send a shiver down your spine. It also helps that there's plenty of oh shit jump scares littered throughout the game. Even players who have played the original will be surprised as enemy placements have been switched up. But one enemy that will be the bane of your time whilst playing the game is the Tyrant, also known as Mr. X. For as much as Resident Evil 2 may be scary when you play it, there's never really a sense of urgency. Yes, the city may be going to the zombie dogs, but you can take the game at your own pace. Well, that's until halfway through and Mr. X shows up. Mr. X is a huge mutant-like thing whose part-time job is probably a wrestler, as he stalks throughout the game from that point. Going through doors, running away won't do you any good, as wherever you are, Mr. X will always find you in the end. It's frankly terrifying and does add a huge sense of anxiety to the game. If you do bump into him, you'll be treated to a nice smacker in the face and a huge chunk off your health. Now, I really do like Mr. X. I think he's a fantastic idea and does remind me a lot of the Xenomorph that stalked you in Alien Isolation. But I have heard complaints saying that it forces players who normally took their time with the game to hurry up more, and I do agree it can be a bit off-putting, but there's ways around you can avoid him and trick him, so he isn't that bad. Exploring the various areas of Raccoon City is a joy. Each area is a huge puzzle in itself, as you have to find various keys and special items to reach specific areas. The game also has a fair share of puzzles to solve, and whilst none of them are too taxing, they're a nice, calmer change of pace. We reached the game's conclusion. It took me just over 8 hours to complete, which may sound a little short, but there's still plenty left to play. Once you complete either Leon's or Claire's A route, you then unlock the other character's B route, which fills in the holes of what the other character was doing whilst in the game. So essentially there's 4 different campaigns, and while some of the parts of the campaign may tread some old ground, each campaign has their own specific story, character encounters, bosses and areas, so you're certainly getting a lot of game for your money. And that's not it, as there's the unlockable 4th Survivor mode, which sees you playing as the mysterious Hung, as he has to travel through the sewers to the entrance of the police station, whilst trying to survive a huge amount of waves of enemies with a short amount of ammo and supplies. It's an incredibly tough task, a punishing mode that will test even the most seasoned players. There's also the hilarious Tofu mode that swaps out Hunk for a giant piece of tofu. It's stupidly daft and funny as well as being bloody hard. And that's not it for the content, as Capcom has just recently released 3 free DLC stories of certain characters that appear in the game, as well as some free classic skins that make Leon and Claire look like their PS1 era. Presentation wise, the game looks astounding, running on the RE engine, the same one that brought us Resident Evil 7. The game is full of brilliant lighting and superb details that really does help create a fantastic atmosphere. From the moment you start the game with the trucker scoffing on a burger, I was shocked how realistic the whole scene looked. Comparing the game to its original PS1 version, it shows how far video games have come since the late 90s, and those who have played the original will be gushing on how beautiful it looks. Capcom has certainly outdone themselves here with a tremendous looking game. Conclusion time now, and Resident Evil 2 Remake is a true master in survival horror and how to do a remake. It takes a beloved classic and not only gives it a phenomenal makeover, but rejigs things to make things feel a little bit new, but also keeps things that make the original so special. It's a lengthy game that's begging for multiple playthroughs, and with plenty of free content in the future, Resident Evil 2 will keep you occupied for a very long time. Capcom should be proud of themselves, as it's easily one of the finest works they've done to date, and again every horror fan should go for, so that's why I'm giving Resident Evil 2 Remake a 9.5 out of 10 with the title of amazing. Thank you for watching my review, like, rate and subscribe, and until next time, happy gaming, bye!